Okay, I'm back. Give me a second. Yeah, on a side note, I live in a small holding, and in the middle of the African bush. And when my dogs bark, it, I need to give it attention. So anyway, back to my story. So anyway, so I did music lessons about 4 times a week, and this lady was a serious classical musician, and she expected her students to take the theory very seriously, and in my silliness, I found her amusing all the time. Anyway, what would happen in my lesson is, in when you play classical piano, there's a certain deportment one has, and if I remember correctly, you have your wrists. So when you play, your wrists are elevated, and of course I would do the and I should whack me on the wrist with the ruler, and she'd always shout at me and say, "Look at the music! Look at the music! You got to read the music!" And one thing she did, which I now, in retrospect, realized the mistake she made, was what she would do is before I played my piece that I was going to work on that day, she would play it. And little Gavin, I'd play it. And what gave me away was I wasn't clever enough to pretend that I was reading the music. I'd play it like my mom used to play. lots of shoulder movement and anyway. So what would happen is on the weekends that we would go home. Every time we went home, I would have this letter that I would have to hand over to my mom, and sometimes it would be like 5 pages, and it's all about Gavin needs to take this seriously. He's very talented, but if he doesn't learn to read his music and follow some discipline, he can never be a classical pianist. So what I found very, very interesting about that, this I must say, the age group for standard 3 in those days were, I'm suppose, about 7, 8. Anyway, I got my justice, as they say. Now, I have a sister who, if she does watch this, I hope this is accurate. If it's not, you let me know. This music teacher, what she had done is she'd arranged for friends of hers who were touring from Germany. They were touring South Africa, an orchestra. And she wanted to put in a recital for them, just to show them what she's doing and to show off 1 or 2 of her students. And well, unsurprisingly, my sister got the piano part to play it at this recital. And lo and behold, about a week or so before the performance, the school's star vocalist got, what was it? What did he get? Either tonsillitis, one of the childhood things that you get when you were 8, 9, 10, 11 years old. So they now had the recital planned, had my sister rehearsed, and no vocalist. Well, I never. What happened? Well, my music teacher knew that if anybody in that school could sing that song after only learning it for like a day or two, or 3 or 4 days, me. And yeah, so I sang it to recital, and my sister played the piano. Yeah, there was still a fault. Got trapped on from my holiday because at that moment when I stood in front of the audience, something I still have when it comes to having an audience. I just suddenly thought, what if I forget the words? So what I did, in my mind, in my memory, I stood with my slightly over to the piano side, and half of me over to the audience side, so that in the event of forgetting the word, I could glance over and read it. Yeah, got a standing ovation, and a very weird big smile from my music teacher. Sadly, the next year we were transferred again. Mom got a job in Pietermaritzburg with living accommodation for my sister and myself. So I sometimes wonder what would have happened if I'd been there 2 or 3 more years. Could I have made friends there? And would I have been able to perhaps learn some of that discipline? That a good pianist, especially a classical pianist, needs. Like, it's just part of the course, not something one decides. Yeah, so anyway, so that was that. Then we came to Maritzburg, and I went to Howick Junior School, and my sister went to Howick High School, and we were there for, well, not long, because then Mom got a transfer where they actually had a cottage on the property of the work that she did. My mom was a nursing sister, and she worked for Sunnyside Park. Yeah, she was there. She was Sister Jolliffe, and often referred to the one in charge. When people had forgotten her name, they referred to her as the one in charge. Yeah, so schooling at Howick was okay. I got into a lot of trouble in boarding school. Most of it was just mischievous nonsense. Although there was one occasion when, us little guys used to play cowboys and Indians, and a lot of the little chaps had their little gun belt and their little plastic pistol. And we had this one kid, and I wish I could remember his name. He was the fastest gun in the boarding school. So one day we got into a little bit of a tiff. And came down to we were going to have a shootout. You see who was the fastest. We do it like behind the edge, where nobody from the boarding establishment could see us. And at that moment, I didn't have a gun. I didn't have a belt with a holster. I didn't. But I didn't think about it at the time. But I had a penknife. Anyway, so we got standing, and all the oaks are standing around, and we're cheering, and we like running up, and he got the gun, and I take my little penknife out, and I open my penknife. Why nobody said, Gavin, what you got a penknife for? Anyway, so as he drew, I flipped the penknife, and I whacked him in the eye. It's probably funny, I suppose, if you think about it. It wasn't badly hurt. He just had a poke wound. the top of his eye. But anyway, that I think that got me about 4 bloody good canes. And then I wasn't a sporty person. I've got a disability, you might notice. And so I never took part in sport, but I used to love watching the people playing cricket, especially after school at the boarding establishment. And the guys who play soccer, the guys who play rugby, they play cricket, and one day I just wanted to have a swing at that damn cricket ball. So the guys gave me the bat and pads, and there were the wickets lined up, and this guy bowled at me, and I took such a swipe at this ball, and where did it go? Straight into the body services window, in the one window, through the body, through the dormitory, out the other window into the passage, and caused mania in the passage. So, silly things I know. So anyway, got to high school, Lynn Park High School, and the first year in standard 6 I must have got caned, as did a lot of kids, I think I must have got caned maybe every second day. It was hectic. I can't always remember what the hell I was doing that got me caned, but I've got a feeling it was my homework. Either not doing my homework or smelling like a cigarette factory after big break. In fact, I used to have a teacher in Standard 7. Was he a science teacher? Was it science? What was it? He had like mean eyes. He was a tall, strapping dude with short grey hair, and he had like really mean eyes. Mr. Kennard was my science teacher. This guy's name was... Anyway. No, actually, it was Mr. Kennard, that's right. We had double science on a Thursday after big break. And what would happen is we all come to class. I always like to sit at the back. There was a little bit more freedom at the back. And what he'd do, he'd walk in the class, stand there, and organize his desk and put whatever reading material on top of the desk. And then he'd stroll down the passage. I could see him coming. And he'd stop next to me. And he'd say to me, "How's it going?" I'd say, "Hello, sir." And he'd say, "Did you have a good break?" And I'd say, "Yes, sir." "And how many cigarettes did you have at break?" So I'd say, "2, sir." So he said, "Well, can you give me a favour? Why don't you take a walk outside? You can stand outside for about 10 minutes and let the smoke, the shitty smell go, and you're welcome to come back in the class, and then we can get on the lesson." And he did this every Thursday. I'd drop my voice because that's how he would talk. He would sort of whisper to me, that, "Hey, now have a nice day," and "So how many cigarettes did you have today?" And yeah, so every Thursday I would. And what would happen is if you were caught on the passageway, I'm trying to think now, I think there was some reading that came in that if you were outside the class for more than, I think, 15 minutes, then you had to go to, you had to go to the principal's office. Am I perhaps talking too softly? I think I'm going to pause.